Okay, I would like to introduce everyone to Joanna. Yes!
Because I'm a girl.
What's your at so we can find that?
Oh, I'm going to tag everybody.
Okay, good.
Miss Teresa?
Joanna is the Assistant Director of Operations at Miller and Hinkle Property Management. Joanna is a leader whose passion for affordable housing comes from her own personal journey, which you're about to hear right now. Joanna, you're up.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. So by a show of hands, really quick, how many of us today landed in property management on accident? I gotta tell you, I knew I wasn't gonna be the only one. My story starts as most of ours today, accidentally falling into property management. I was young, married, loving my career as an upcoming insurance agent, but was having a lot of fun traveling, doing all the stuff. But with all great stories, there's always a but. So I found myself at 21 years old, going through a very messy divorce. My ex had fled the country, so I was not receiving child support. Super young, no help with my children, traveling was out of the question. And my boys at the time were 4 and they were 8 months old. Because I'm a problem solver, I had a really great connection that I had made the year before with one of my friends who was a branch manager for Manpower Staffing Agency. I explained my situation, and the very next day she had me in her office doing the assessments, doing the questionnaire, doing all that nice stuff. Now we're talking like late 90s, okay? I'm gonna date myself. One of the things I was looking for was to be local. I'm from a small town in the South Bay, California, from Gilroy, California. We're the garlic capital of the world. Some of you know where it's at. And I wanted to know, one of the things I always kind of tell everybody is that there's one thing we know for sure and 2 things for certain. It's less really about what we know and all about who we know. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my mic. Would you agree with that statement, that it's more about who we know, right? The good thing for me is that the very next day she had something for me. It was a maintenance coordinator position at a local property management company, but it was a temp position. It was servicing the Tri-County area. I was very excited because it was literally down the street from my apartment. But I quickly realized that paying rent, daycare, and having a car payment were really gonna be impossible on what I was making. So I made the very difficult decision to give up my apartment. My 2 boys and I lived in my car for several months, and I can't begin to tell you how scared I was, because there were many nights where people would be trying to break in the car while we were sleeping. And I learned a few things, got some street smarts to myself, and learned that I had to move around mostly once. Every now and then I'd have to move around twice. I had to be very organized to get my 2 boys ready and myself for the next day. Because when you're homeless and you're kind of you're living this life, but you have to be very organized. I was really trying to hide the fact that I didn't want nobody to know that I didn't have a place to live. I was really also worried about the perception of me as a teen mom, divorced, and homeless. I was new to my job. I didn't want anybody to think that I couldn't handle the responsibilities. And I didn't want them to think that I didn't have enough experience to be able to handle this position. But I would think to myself, how is it possible that I'm working in affordable housing and I could not afford to pay the rent? I knew I needed to stay and learn, but I also knew that I needed to give my family the stability that we desperately needed. And fortunately for me, the company that I worked for, one of the regionals, probably suspecting what I was going through, took me under her wing and started mentoring me. She started giving me some really good advice, explaining a lot of different things, the who's, the how's, the why's. And she started making these really badass moves, and I remember thinking, I cannot wait. Eventually, I want to be just like her. What I didn't know is that she was actually having me help her onboard some portfolios in some counties that were near us. And while we were doing all of that, the company made a really badass move for me that left me speechless. They bought me out of my temp contract and made me a permanent full-time employee. Once I was onboarded, and I quickly started getting promoted, assistant manager, manager. It was happening really fast, and she would always tell me, pay attention and learn. There's a lot to learn. You're always gonna be a student. A few months down the road, that book of business was actually ready to go. It was gonna be ours to manage. She calls me in her office one day, and I'm excited because I'm thinking it's just paperwork, like we're signing this over, we're taking over this portfolio. And she closes the door. And I remember thinking, like, I was already getting ready to make my next move. My car was almost paid off. I knew that, like, my money was gonna get good real quick. Like, I was close. I had enough money almost to pay the deposit. Like, I was close. I knew I was like, this is good. But when she closed the door, I remember thinking, did I do something wrong? Like, am I in trouble for something? And I was like thinking, was there something I missed? Because that's what I kind of thought. Well, what I didn't realize is that day she gave me, I'm gonna cry. She gave me a contract and a set of keys. It was a free unit. I want to believe today that she was helping me take baby steps so that I needed to learn how to do the work for myself, but she knew the things that I was going to be capable of doing. She told me, here, I wanted to give you these. I have a feeling that I know what they're going to mean to you, and I wanted to give you some privacy. In that moment, everything kind of culminated, and I remember thinking, like, I'm going to be stress-free. I'm going to have a safe place for my kids to be at, and we're not going to have to be stressed about where I live. That moment of clarity and realization months prior that she had really helped me learn while keeping my dignity. Like the true leader that she was, she disclosed what she could when she could. She never, ever, ever overpromised, but man, did she always overdeliver. Something that I strive to do today with my teams. Not only did this give me the stability that I needed, but it also let me breathe. I was no longer going to be operating out of fight or flight. My boys would have a safe place to stay. And it also gave me an opportunity because, like, that one little chance at housing changed everything, not just personally, but in my career. It also gave me an opportunity to kind of see how our residents live. It gave me a firsthand opportunity to see the work that we do. It allowed me to be a stable mom and a great team member. This personal experience has given me the obsession with helping families wherever I happen to be at. I want to see them housed. I always want to see how I can better their situation if possible. I work tirelessly with my assistants and my team members to move quietly, quickly, efficiently, and compassionately, while building and reinforcing the relationships in the communities that we serve and the agencies that we work with. Because at the end of the day, we all know that collaboration is key. Those relationships are very important, and it's always a collaborative effort. If I wanted to go fast, I could go by myself. But because I want to go far and create a deep impact, I have to take a lot of people with me. I see a vision, and sometimes not everybody else does, but I see it. Now, today, really quick, I'm happy to report my now 3 boys and I are thriving because one person, 27 years ago, in a moment of clarity, knew that she could make a difference. And not only in that moment in time, but what she didn't realize was the lifetime impact that was going to have because of that one thing she did for me. Because of that act of kindness, generosity, and the selfless leadership, I strive to pay it forward in any way that I can. I want to see beyond the black and white applications to see how I can help, not just our prospective residents, but also my team members. I did a really great job, I think. My oldest son is also in property management. He just got promoted to manager. Used to be in maintenance and decided he wanted to be in the office, and then decided to start at the bottom, and now he's an on-site manager, so he's doing well. Thank you. My second son works for a tow company who services a lot of the properties that we happen to be at. You know, kind of funny. And my 12-year-old is so far doing really well, acclimating himself to his first year of junior high. My career has had a lot of ups and downs over the years, as many of you probably have also experienced. I've taken time off to care for my dad, who eventually passed from stomach cancer 10 years ago, and also helped care for my mom with major back surgery. The last 10 years of my career have been the most upward growth and progress I've ever experienced in my 28 years in property management. But it has given me an amazing opportunity to have an amazing career, but also be a very involved parent, which has been something very valuable to me. Now, this is a super abbreviated version of my story. And I realize that, Miss Carrie, I'm already over time, but I want to share something that I wrote in 2018. It's a poem, and I want to share it with all of you today. It's entitled Hope. For even in the ashes of fire's destruction, there is a rebirth. That is how a phoenix is born. Though they are thought to be mythical creatures, how could they not exist? We see women who have been through hell's fire and have become that very same fire. With every child and experience, a new challenge, new growth, new understanding, which is why each phoenix are represented by different colors. No challenge is ever in vain. It just means that we'll shine brighter. As all children, you and your beautiful mothers shine so bright as you both change, evolve, and become what every woman morphs into. The impossible, the never broken, the fearless, the relentless. Born out of what should have destroyed most, a phoenix. May your darkest hour be what sets your soul on fire, so you too can become what all other women need, hope. Thank you.